Yo, 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 this is DPS Podcast. That's Damage Per Second Podcast, episode 280. And we are back on a fine Thursday night, feeling all right. I am here, one of your hosts, SloMoBackSlap, with the two other, we are the three amigos now. You ever see that movie, The Three Amigos, with like Steve Martin and God, Chevy Chase, and who was the other guy? He was like a little tiny guy. Can't remember his name. They felt like they were all from Saturday Night Live. Regardless, that's who we are. We're three amigos, and you do the hip thrust, look to the right, hip thrust thing they used to do. Great movie. If I know that sounds old, if you ain't seen it, go watch Three Amigos. It's a good time. Anyway, we're back on a fine Thursday night, feeling all right, and we don't have a ton of topics, but the one topic we definitely need to get into probably going to be pretty. I wouldn't say contentious. We might have a few couple of different opinions about it, but it's going to be something to discuss for a little while now. But all that said, let's get into the rest of the panel here. Gaming Forte, what's up, bro? How's it going, man?
What's up, man? How you doing, man? This is shout out to you and shout out to your
Martin Short. That's it. Thank you,
Short,
IMAX.
Yeah, that's his name.
Martin Short.
Yeah, shout out to you holding it down on Crossfire with for the DPS podcast. You always do a great job when you're over there. And
shout out to Mooch and Crossfire. It was a good time over there.
Crossfire. Shout out to Mooch, always bringing me up. I love him. That's my man. So I actually surprised him. He's like, yeah, I forgot it. I didn't know you still listen to the show. I said, brother, I listen to the show as I'm getting ready for DPS all the time. So it was just something that I had to talk to him about in there. But yeah, but other than that, man, games I've been playing. I am halfway through. Actually, I'm probably 3/4 of the way through. What in the world? I keep forgetting the name. Adventures of Elliot. Okay. I am almost done with it, and it is a little bit longer. Remember we talked about last time. It seems like it was kind of short. Yeah, there's a little bit more length to it. You just got to get past that first part. It's one of those games where you feel like you're at the end of it, and then it just like, why would you do that? Why would you make it seem like it's like this crescendo that's happening, but it doesn't happen, and then you're like, oh, false positive. But yeah, that game's awesome. So I'm about I want to say 14, 15 hours in. Really enjoying that. I guess you got my daughter playing it now. Peyton started playing it in her meantime. And the only reason she started playing because she had my Switch one day. I was like, can I have my Switch? She said, well, I'm playing Adventures of Elliot, because I was going to take it to work with me. And I was like, I can't tell my kid no. She ain't got nothing else to do on certain days when she ain't got practice. So been playing that. Also, a little bit of Battlefield. Jumped on Destiny a little bit to like say my farewells because
you should delete your characters.
No.
Well, why not? I mean, it's not like you're getting new content.
Listen, that's okay. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. No, wait. Listen, that actually crossed. I ain't gonna lie, that crossed my mind at one point, and then I was like, no, because guess what, SloMo? Rogue Company doesn't make content no more either. You still ain't delete none of those characters. Did you delete that account?
I can't. I mean, I can't delete characters. Like, it's not
Can
like
you delete accounts.
I don't know. But you know what? I've uninstalled the Rogue Company and I haven't looked back. I don't even think you can log in.
Got no content.
Huh?
Division 1 ain't got content no more. You delete those characters?
I don't know. Maybe I did. I haven't. I haven't. I haven't. No, I sure haven't. But you know what?
You ain't delete those characters, bro.
It's just me messing with you. That's all.
Oh, I know. But no, listen. I actually thought about that, and then I was like, you know what? This server will die before the servers will get cut off before I delete my characters. Because I feel like I gave up at that point, and I can't do that.
Well, there might be a time where that happens real soon. Eventually,
I would be more likely to delete all my Warframes in Warframe before I delete my Destiny characters, which is
that's definitely not necessary considering digital streams is still rocking.
No, they are, but that's how I feel about my Destiny characters. Like if someone told me to pick between my Destiny characters and my Warframe characters, and I would pick Warframe characters to delete, even knowing Warframe is going to be a game that's going to be around for longer.
Well,
I couldn't bring myself to do it. That's like deleting a child out this world for me. That sounds real morbid, so we're not going to use that one. But we just can't do that, bro.
okay.
But
let's say you have to choose between your left hand, your left foot, and your right foot. We'll go with that instead.
Ooh, left foot, right foot. Ooh, left foot.
What?
Oh my god! The point was you couldn't choose.
I know. I just wanted to. I just wanted to answer the question. I said left foot or right foot. But cool. But
you notice I paused because I was about to say left hand or right hand, but then I figured that might not be good. So that's why.
No, I need my hands. You gotta play games. Yeah, but that's it for me. What about you, Ramon? What you been up to?
I didn't introduce him yet. This is Ramon Terrell, actor, writer, voice actor, which is just like acting anyway, but just a little different. Gamer, Ramon Terrell, Canadian, expat from away of LA. I'm just doing this entire bio now. But yeah, Ramon, what's up, man? How's it going? What you been playing?
Yo, great to be here. It's been a great week. Yeah, I have been playing Forza Horizon 6, a little bit of Crimson Desert as usual, those two regulars, and I started Pragmata. That game is awesome, and it really makes me think, and it raises questions in my mind, because anybody who knows me, and you two know me, like I don't like cybernetic stuff. I'm okay with androids. Androids are fine, but I have a real thing about the whole AI thing, and I'm not talking about like the generative AI crap that we're going through now, just AI in general, especially like somewhat self-aware. But Diana is like undeniably so cute and so charming, and
I was gonna say so gorgeous, ain't she?
Well, I mean, she's very cute. I'm gonna say gorgeous. She's very cute. Okay, well, she's gorgeous. Designed to be like 7, so but
that's true.
Yeah. I think you might want to rephrase the whole use of gorgeous there, Forte. I don't want this to turn into
the graphics.
Yeah. There we go.
That's what we're talking about. We're talking about the graphics. We're not talking about
the graphics. Are gorgeous, dude.
Yeah, they are. They're beautiful. You can see the specs on her nose.
Hey,
gorgeous.
Hey.
Why you say like that?
Because I don't know where you was going with that.
Y'all make it more than it needs to be.
I don't know.
I said the specs on her nose, and you was like, whoa.
Ramon, please continue.
All I'm saying is somebody spent an exorbitant amount of time on that girl's nose. That's all I was saying.
Well, it was. It's very much appreciated. They did a fantastic job.
Absolutely.
She's very endearing. There's so many times with the interactions with her, I just find myself smiling ear to ear because she's just a sweetheart. I mean, yes, she's an android, but she's a sweetheart.
I still need to play that. I still haven't played it yet.
Oh yeah, I highly recommend it. This game makes me want to go backtrack to find the things that weren't accessible to me early in the game. I want to go back and get those things. And they make it easy because it shows on your map the location you're in, the locations on the map, and the items that you either have collected or have yet to collect. So it makes it really easy to go back and find, know what's left that you need to go find when you obtain your abilities to be able to backtrack to some of those levels to do that. Upgrading your weapon, her hacking abilities, your health, all of that is really cool. The different hacking abilities, it's awesome. I mean, I'm just loving this game to death. I'm just loving it. So That one it's everything everybody said it was. I was on board since the first time I saw the trailer, but I was delayed in picking it up. But yeah, I am having an absolute ball with this game, and I had to tear myself away from it today to get some stuff done before the show. So that should tell you all you need. If you haven't played it yet, I highly, highly recommend grabbing it. I don't even think I have a complaint. The game also, I'm playing on PC, and it is demanding if you turn on ray reconstruction and path tracing. I turned on path tracing and ray reconstruction. I have a 4080 Super Ryzen 7800 X3D. And I turned on frame gen, and I'm hovering between 60 and 65, sometimes 70 frames with frame gen on. So, yeah, so it's that demanding, and it is absolutely beautiful. And the NVIDIA latency thing kicks in when you turn on frame gen, so I'm experiencing no lag, and it's just awesome. Can't recommend it enough.
Facts.
Cool. As so for myself, I really haven't been playing a lot this week. This week has been, for basically everyone who doesn't know this, except for you guys, I'm going on vacation next week, so I won't be here next week. Will we have a podcast? That's up to Forte and Ramon. But yeah, I'm going on vacation, and a lot of this week has been really kind of caught up with work and trying to tie things up with work so that I'm not leaving my colleagues kind of like stuck out there on projects that would have typically needed my support, and just preparing. Not going to be in the house for like a week, up to a week, not quite a week, but there's about that. So like I haven't really played too much. I have played a little bit more Fortnite, oddly, and a lot of Hades 2. I've now been playing Hades 2 on Xbox as well as like I'm pretty much almost finished everything on Steam on PC. And I kind of just started over on Xbox since it was already in Game Pass, and I'm already at the point now where I'm like halfway through it, through completing the main part of the game and getting into the epilogue. And that's more of like my how experienced I am already in the game to be able to do that. So that's just been kind of a bit of my obsession with Hades. I freaking love that game. What else here? Oh, I have to complain about something real quick. And so I do tend to, when it comes to controllers, give a lot of third party controllers a lot of praise for uh, doing things and giving people quality products for a cheaper price than what you'll get from the main platforms with their main controllers. But something I do need to call out with, and it seems to be coming mostly from like these Chinese controller manufacturers, which is not just them, because clearly there are American controller makers that absolutely suck. Like Razer, you're trash. Just letting you know that, Razer. If you're listening to this, you're a dumpster. Just letting you know. But um, there are a few, like this past week, I've noticed two separate controllers that I have that I updated the firmware because they had a firmware update available, and it actually made my controller worse. One was the Fly Digivator 5 Pro. Do not do that latest update. Oh my goodness. Like it just caused problems. Um and the other one is the Mojang Storm that I have. I updated the controller, and the sticks are now worse. Like for some reason. I don't know what's going on with it. I first I thought there was like an issue with the game I was playing because like the controller's fine, and then I recalibrated the sticks, and it's still just odd. And so I've been kind of like troubleshooting it, but yeah. When it comes to some of these controller makers now, I think when it comes to their updates, I'm just going to start treating them a little bit more cautiously than I would before. And what else? Oh, I've decided to do this. I'm going to be building 2 Steam machine killers now, not just 1. And I know, like, I think last show, some people in the chat were wondering what the build I have that I'm putting together that's going to be my small form factor PC. I still haven't forgot. I will put the build out there on social media if you guys want to check it out. But I basically put it together through PC Part Picker. It doesn't have everything because some of the stuff that I have is like it's a DDR4 build, so I have the DDR4 RAM already. I'll just kind of put that in there and just not have a price for it. But or maybe I should put the price in there in case someone wants to emulate it. But there's that I'll put that out there. But the other one I'm going to make is so shout out to like K Asante and Everborn Saga with the Gaming Circle podcast. They have been talking about this, and I didn't kind of want to go this route because I didn't think it was enough power. But there's this thing called the BC250. And I don't know if you gentlemen have heard about the BC250 yet, but essentially it is a it's essentially a small form factor, but not that small, kind of like PC build that you can put together. You'll need a case, of course, and a power supply, but and maybe an additional fan for cooling. But essentially, it is what the base PlayStation 5 is. It's that custom APU that AMD made for PlayStation, but at some points, I guess some of them Sony maybe denied some of them because they didn't quite fit the whatever parameters they wanted. Doesn't necessarily mean that they are like a bad chip or whatever. It just for whatever reason they got denied. And then those particular chips became a part of this BC250 that was used for crypto mining for years. And then when they're done, now that crypto miners aren't using them anymore, there's a lot of them that are available on like eBay and just out there in the secondhand market that you can get for like anywhere between like $150 to $200. Now, why is this important? Well, because it is essentially what the PlayStation 5 is, but just it has some of its cores and threads turned off for the GPU and CPU. People have kind of figure out how to unlock all the cores for the GPU. They haven't quite done so yet for the CPU yet, but they're getting there. And yeah, a lot of people are taking these BC250s, getting 3D printed cases where they have the 3D printer themselves to make it themselves. Or they're just, buying one online and you can get one for like $75 or less. And they're building a PC because like the PlayStation 5 itself is more powerful than what the current Steam machine is. They're basically building their own Steam machine for less than half the cost of the actual Steam machine. Putting Steam OS or Bazite or what is it, Catchy OS or whatever the heck it's called, any kind of other OS that basically they want on it. If you just want to do basic Steam OS now that 3.8's out and you can use that, that's fine. And they're putting these things together for like $300, $400, if that, and essentially getting more performance for what the Steam machine offers at 1080p and 1440p than what the Steam machine can do. And so I'm going to do 2 different builds. I'm going to do the small form factor PC that I planned on doing, and I'm going to make another one of those just because I feel like it. And I'll have them maybe replace like some of the other gaming setups I have with some of the not PCs, but the TVs around the house. So that's just kind of what I'm working on. Anything else you guys want to add before we get into the rapid fires?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Huh?
Oh, really? Oh, really?
So since we were just discussing the Steam machine and Valve getting basically curb stomped by the entire PC community, not just PC community, gaming community in general, because what they provide is a underpowered device that it costs way more than it should. some other bad news is out here, which is not, I would say, it's not quite Valve's fault here. They're well within their rights to do what they've done, but it's just in light of everything else, it's not a good look for them. So essentially, Dbrand, which is like an accessory maker out there, they make accessories like cases for your Switch or um your Steam Deck. They make all kinds of accessories. They'll make a case for, like, I actually have a Dbrand case for my iPhone. Things like that. They do all kinds of accessories like this, and they announced what they called the Companion Cube shortly after the announcement last year of the Steam machine. And the Companion Cube is, I mean, it's a cube, just like the the Steam machine, but it's a little. It looks like something maybe Nintendo would have made. It looks interesting. That's it. When they made this thing, they showed a concept of it, and they started taking people on a wish list for people who wanted it. And it was a significant number of people who wanted it, and then additionally they started taking pre-orders for it. And when they did that, what they didn't do, and this is something that Dbrand typically does, so is they acknowledge this is their fault, but they didn't ask Valve permission to make the Companion Cube. And because the design and what it's supposed to be used for is a Valve property, uh, they got a cease and desist from Valve legal team about not making this Companion Cube and basically making money off of their own intellectual property. And so they had to cancel the Companion Cube and give refunds back to everyone who already pre-ordered. So, Forte, your thoughts about Dbrand and this issue with Valve?
I mean, this is kind of nothing new. The same thing happened with PlayStation with the plates when PlayStation came out with the.
Was it Dbrand again?
That was Dbrand. They remember they made their own special. They made their own black. I think they called them the blackout plates.
Yeah.
And PlayStation ended up was going to sue them if they didn't change the design of them, because they were like 1-to-1 of the plates that were already on the system. That's when they ended up they still sell plates and stuff, but they ended up having to change the form factor of them a little bit. They used to have the pointed edges, they had to go to the round edges. So they had to put the fan, like, because it used to be like the fan used to be just like the one that was on the PlayStation 5, but then they had to change it. So now the Dbrand run has two fans and playing on both sides, which might actually be better for the airflow of the system, that it's not just coming through one side of it. But yeah, that's something that happened there. And they always are pushing the envelope when it comes to just overall R&D development of products and stuff. And a lot of and sometimes I think it's like a necessary evil, because even when it comes to Dbrand, the form factor of the Switch 2 got leaked because of the Dbrand peripheral. Remember the actual design of the system, like the actual form factor, where people literally went out and 3D rendered off of the case that got leaked on their website of what the Switch 2 might look like. And so Dbrand has always had this contentious relationship when it comes to manufacturers of products and stuff, because they are one of those developers that are in the know of what product is coming, because they have to make accessories for it. So they kind of know form factors and everything. So this doesn't surprise me when it comes to that. I mean,
but the weird thing with this one is that they didn't really know.
Yeah, well, nobody really knew.
And they also didn't ask for permission to make it. Yeah, so they were just like, "Hey, look, we're gonna make money off of this because we think people." And at the time when the Steam machine was first announced, like it had a lot of hype for it. A lot of people were excited for it. That has tampered down significantly since then. But
price will do that to you.
Right. But just, off the hype alone, I can't remember what the actual numbers were, but they had a significant number of wish lists for it. It was like in the 100,000. So for them, that's like, yeah, Yeah, let's go ahead and make this thing. It's just that, it's interesting because I completely forgot that the same situation happened with Sony and they didn't ask for permission. And so I
Nope.
wonder if Dbrand just has this philosophy of you ask for forgiveness instead of permission.
Mm-hmm.
You're just gonna go do it anyway. And then
It
if
doesn't really
you
work well with business.
right, and,
It's-
and it doesn't surprise me at all because they seem very like their marketing and their brand seems very like dude bro, like we just do
They're
whatever we want.
very defiant when it comes
Hmm.
to like their brand.
Yeah, and look, if you've ever bought a D brand anything before and then they're how like you say don't send me emails but the companies send you emails anyway like they're just going to do it regardless. Dbrand marketing and emails are freaking hilarious, like the stuff that they say that it's a part of their shtick, I guess, is that they just act like a bunch of dudes who just don't care. But then that kind of becomes that's like your persona, and then you carry that into actual business, end up in a situation where this could have been, and I don't think if I had the exact numbers, but this is like one of the most wish listed and pre-ordered items they've ever had. And now you gotta cancel and refund everything back because of how you do your business practices. Like at some point, you gotta stop, being so, you know, loose with it, being such a maverick, and actually be a bit professional. Ask for permission, especially if this is something that you've been through multiple times already.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. What
Ramon, what are your thoughts about it?
Man, anytime you operate as and I'm saying this not to be funny or not to be reductive, but anytime you operate as like a barnacle, you know what I mean? Like you have you're kind of beneficial, but you're just kind of like attached to the larger body. You're just you know what I mean? Like you're attached to a larger body, and that's the structure of your business. You've got to ask for permission. Give me 1 second. Sorry.
No, you're good.
No, you're good. And I think what you're saying is, yeah, like when you call them a barnacle, I think I get that kind of analogy. Essentially, your products are a accessory, a secondary item, a something to enhance a main product that someone else makes. Like Dbrand
Exactly.
doesn't make anything. Like Dbrand would make case covers for PlayStation 5, but they don't make a PlayStation 5. They'll make a really good, like for example, the case I have for my iPhone, it's a clear case. And I forgot what they call it, the ghost case. They got cool names and stuff. So like they called it the ghost case. And for them, it was like we will guarantee, because there's a whole thing with like if you get a clear case for a phone, due to the sun and the elements and everything, eventually it'll turn yellow on you. They were like, we
Yeah.
guarantee this case won't turn yellow on you. And guess what? The ghost case 1.0 never turned yellow. But then out of nowhere, I got like a email from them and it was like, hey, look, we know you bought that ghost case. We know it still ain't turned yellow. We guaranteed it, and we were absolutely right. And I mean, like that's how they worded the email, just like that, because that's just it's like I said, it's their shtick, their brand to be braggadocious like that. But then they were like, but some of you guys complained about how easy it is to scratch or scuff it. So you know what? We're doing a ghost 2.0. And because you bought the first one, we're gonna give you the second one for free. And I was like, oh, cool. I didn't have an issue with my Ghost 1.0. But cool, I'll take a free case that's more scratch resistant and still doesn't
Hmm.
yellow. Cool. Now all that was great until it came to actually delivering on it. So I remember it was like in the summer that they had announced that. And then it took like half a year for them to actually deliver on it. So they were like, "Hey, look, we finally got we finally have these Ghost 2.0s ready. Send us the case for the kind of phone you have and send us your address again, and we'll take care of it. We'll send it to you. I do all that. I fill the form out. I send it out. 2 weeks later, I get this case in the mail. It's the case for the wrong phone. And I'm
Oh
like,
man.
the heck is this? Now, again, it's a free case, but I can't use it. So I contact customer service and I'm like, hey, look, you guys sent me the wrong case. I can't remember which iPhone I had at the time, but I was like, this is my iPhone. You guys sent me a case for essentially a brand new iPhone, which I would have never chose that. Like I that's the latest iPhone. I know explicitly remember choosing my iPhone because I couldn't remember which one I had. So I actually went into my phone, went into the settings to see which one this was again, and I chose that. So I remember doing it. They tried to fight me for it. They were like, no, we just checked our logs and you explicitly chose the wrong iPhone. But it's
You
fine.
chose violence.
Yeah, it's fine. No worries. You made the mistake. We'll fix it. We'll go send you another one.
Oh, I love it when they do that mess.
I'm
Ugh.
like, hey, yo, hold up. I was like, look, I know it's a free case, but first of all, check your tone, bro. Don't tell me I made a mistake when I know I didn't. This is on you. Like, and they were like, hey, chill out, man. Look, I'm not even exaggerating it. They were like, yo, chill out, dude. It's not that big a deal. We're gonna send you the free case again, another free case. You got 2 free cases now. I was like, yo, we were face to face. You getting chin checked. You know what I'm saying? Like, who you talking to? And it's just like, it's that kind of. I wonder what their like office environment is. It's probably like so frat boy ridiculous, pranks everywhere, just balls to the wall, don't care about anything kind of like environment. For them to be like talking like you made a mistake and you just won't admit that you made a mistake, but then you're still acting like, hey, it's no big deal. We're gonna take care of you. Don't worry about it. Like, no, I did get the case eventually, the right case. And eventually, like, it has got no scratches and it's still on yellow, exactly like they said. But it's just like everything it took to get there, completely ridiculous. And that's just how they are. Like they stick their foot in it sometimes. I remember they had a whole controversy on Twitter about some thing that they said on Twitter that they were trying to be funny and people didn't take it funny. So I don't know. Maybe they need to get a little bit more professional sometimes. My bad. What I cut you off, Ramon, and then went on a whole tangent. So my bad. Go ahead. Continue.
No, it's all good. Yeah, anytime your business model is attached to and dependent upon a larger entity, you gotta ask for permission, man. I mean, there are certain things where you act and then ask, you do it now and ask for forgiveness later. But asking for forgiveness, that's a person to person thing. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Like, but when you're dealing with, when you are running a business and you're attaching yourself to literally $100 billion corporations, you're really playing with fire. So I mean, I would much rather, ask, hey, this is what we want to do, and they may ask for a percentage, and better to pay a percentage than to have to kill off the whole operation and however many of these things you might have made and issue refunds and all that other stuff. So I mean, ask for permission, see what, if they want a percentage, see what it is, and if it's viable, then you just pay it and keep going. If it's not viable, then you're not out any money that you would have been out having to pay for refunds and kill off the operation. So I mean, the only other alternative is to pack them all up in your trunk and sell them on the street so that PlayStation doesn't get wind of it. But yeah, that is definitely not a recommendable way to operate. But I do remember that, and shout out to PlayStation for being absolute, like, I'm not gonna say the word because they killed those faceplates and then did nothing with them themselves. They literally made a console with detachable faceplates and did nothing with it. They made what, like maybe like 4 or 5 different branded ones. And in this day and age, like you don't with something like those faceplates, they don't have to stock a whole warehouse full of them. You can create something of an on-demand. I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. I don't know for a fact, but I'm sure of it. But you know, it's annoying. But anyway, as you can tell, I'm already annoyed with them anyway. So we'll
Yeah.
go ahead and move on.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else you guys want to say about this? We can move on to our actual
Move on.
final rapid fire.
Yep.
This is a true rapid fire. Like this is just the Uzi.
This ain't musket fire now, huh?
Right. No musket fire today. This is one magazine. So yeah.
Oh really? Oh really?
Xbox has decided to no longer publish Project Fantasy. That's clearly not the actual name, but that's all we got going on right now, which is a new IP being developed by IO Interactive, who just released the very successful and well received 007 First Light. Xbox's official comment on this was that they are not reducing their investment on games, but where they're changing on where they decide to invest invest that money in the kinds of games that they're doing. And IO intends on continuing to make the game, but they need to find a new developer or a new publisher in order to fund it. Ramon, what are your thoughts about this?
It is amazing how volatile the entertainment industry is. I really feel for IO. I feel for them. Hopefully they had a decent back out clause in the contract to where they've gotten some kind of compensation, hopefully. And depending on the scope of the project, hopefully they can find another publisher that isn't a platform. I mean, actually, that doesn't even matter. I shouldn't even say that. That doesn't even matter because there are publishers who kill projects too.
Yep.
But you know, I really hope that they can land on their feet with somebody else with this because that sucks. I mean, it absolutely sucks, and it also speaks to, you know, on the Xbox side, like, I don't know, man. Game Pass obviously isn't going anywhere. I mean, Game Pass is their subscription service, just like PS Plus, just like what is it, NSO, whatever the Nintendo store is.
I thought
Yeah,
I
yeah. So,
thought
NOS,
the
Nintendo
eShop.
online store.
Oh, you mean
eShop.
the subscription?
Yeah, it's called NSO.
Yeah, it's still called
NSO.
Okay.
NSO, yeah.
Oh, NOS. I'm
So-
sorry, NOS. But eShop is the actual name of the store.
Okay. So, you know, obviously Game Pass isn't going anywhere, but the Game Pass day one thing, like, I don't know, man. Like, I foresee, like, with them, they're getting more selective, quote unquote selective, with, you know, third party deals, publishing, and then third party deals day one for Game Pass. I think in the coming shows, we're gonna start seeing, you know, some games announced and it's saying day one Game Pass, more games announced and it's not going to say anything except available on the Xbox, xCloud, and PC. And then people are going to be like, but isn't it Game Pass? I think we're going to start seeing more of that. And as they trickle it down lower and lower, and Game Pass day one, even first party, I think is a question mark right now. I'm not saying it's going away, but I'm saying it's a question mark. And it just seems like all of this is kind of telegraphing that, to me at least.
I'm gonna hold off, but I got a two-parter on my answer about that based on something that you said. But Forte, go ahead and give your thoughts on it before I go.
They ain't gone, but it will be gone before games like Fallout and Elder Scrolls 6 comes out. The games ain't going. Those games are going to be in Game Pass day and date. Game Pass is going to persist. I think Game Pass is still the long-term vision of what they want to do because it's a subscription service that speaks to the core competencies of what Microsoft is, and that's what they want. But I also think that the bleeding of revenue can't be ignored, and I don't think Microsoft's going to ignore it for too much longer. I just think at some point within the next year to a year, probably 2 years, by 2028, sometime in that realm. A lot of the bigger tentpole games won't be going to Game Pass day and date. There's no reason to really announce that right now, due to the fact that, you already, Game has already had a tumultuous, 2026 with prices going up, then prices coming back down, then the removal of Call of Duty from it. Even though those are all things that people kind of understand, you don't want to add another hand grenade in there saying that, it's a, the lifeline of day and day is finite at this point. So once again, it will just be a conversation that will be had at some point in the future where they start talking about these newer games that start coming out, and you'll see less and less marketing around day and date inside of Game Pass, or you'll see stuff like that. I do think those games will still hit Game Pass at some point, but it's going to probably follow the mantra of the 3 to 6 months after the game comes out, probably closer to 3 months, because a lot of games really hit their ceiling in sales around that 3 to 4 month period. And then after that, the only time they really pick back up is during the holidays or during game of the year conversations, if a game is really, really good. So I can see, them really leaning into probably what Xbox Game Pass should have been from the beginning, like a service where you can still get games, first party games, inside of a service, but not day and day. I think if they had to redo this whole initiative, that's probably where they would have linked with it the most, because you're still giving the value of a $60 to $70 game inside of a, $25 or $20 to $30 membership, compared to where it used to be at. So I think that's where it's going to end up. I don't see it happening right now, but as soon as they started removing games like Call of Duty, and yes, that's the biggest game in the industry outside of, Grand Theft Auto, you really think they're going to do that when it comes to their other games like not Forza, but Fallout and, Elder Scrolls, especially when those games have lives that can live on other platforms, which some people will probably argue and say they could do it. And it's not that they wouldn't do it or they couldn't do it. It's just that I don't think Microsoft has the appetite to have big games like that show up into a service like that, unless everything around Xbox changes over the course of the next couple of years, which I'm still skeptical about at this point. But what about you, SloMo?
I think that this current regime is very much like old school Microsoft, where they don't understand entertainment, they don't understand creativity. All they do understand are numbers, and they don't quite interpret numbers the way that they should. But when it comes to what they're going to fund and invest in, they only want to fund and invest in sure bets. And it doesn't matter that IO Interactive just proved with 007 First Light that essentially they can do games outside of the typical wheelhouse of Hitman. Doesn't matter about that. Doesn't matter how well Project Fantasy actually looked. It's about the fact that it's a new IP and they're not really trying to invest in that. And so they would rather take that money and invest it in, say, I don't know, Fallout New Vegas remake or Fallout 5 or a new remake of not new, it wouldn't be new, but another remake of Skyrim. Something like that for bigger IPs instead of actually funding new creative experiences, because they don't care about none of that.
Right.
And so I think it's less about really Game Pass, although Game Pass is a whole different thing that also I agree will absolutely change. Game Pass, the way it's structured now, I think is not going to be the Game Pass that we're going to have, say, a year from now. But I think it has less to do with that and more to do with they don't really care about gaming. They just care about making money and what has the chance of earning them the most return on investment. And if Project Fantasy was super expensive, and yet they weren't quite certain that some of the game design or the game mechanics in it were things that have already been done successfully by other developers already. Then they're like, well, that's a risk. Can it work out? Absolutely. That's why the last regime greenlit this game. But I'm not trying to take that risk. I'm not trying to take a L on this. I'd much rather take this money and use it to go fund Banjo Kazooie, which I am certain will sell. So that's just where they're at. Do I agree with it? Absolutely not. I would have liked to at least seen what Project Fantasy is, and sure, it's not canceled, and the teams that were working on it have not been laid off yet. But in this current environment, in uh, this current time in the games industry, the likelihood that they find another publisher to help fund this for them, I think is very unlikely. So it's unfortunate. I wish things were different, but it's just where we're at now, unfortunately. You guys ready to get into this main topic?
Yup.
May as well.
Well, yeah. So I feel like ever since say 3 weeks ago when we had all those showcases, and I was like, oh, look at these great games. These games look great. Everything looks awesome. You know, we saw these great games at Summer Game Fest and Xbox Showcase and so Fire Emblem and Sony had an okay show, PlayStation had an okay show. Everything was great. And then just like ever since then, it's just been straight bad news every single day of the week. It's just bad news. So here's some more helping of bad news, everyone. You ready? Well, it looks like PlayStation 6 will not be subsidizing the cost of the hardware, and also will not be giving you any physical option for physical games. It will be a digitally only PlayStation 6, and this is all coming from two things. One is coming from a Sony Q&A session that they had over the past week, and their current CEO Hideki Nishino was speaking about their plan around hardware pricing and profitability. And to quote him directly, he says, as for pricing, it is not realistic for us to absorb all component cost increases, and we have already implemented some price increases outside Japan. At present, however, sales are proceeding as planned, and we do not believe this has led to a decline in customer demand. That's a freaking lie. Anyway, as a principle, we do not intend to sell hardware at significant losses. At the same time, we are carefully monitoring the market and continuing to evaluate our approach. We believe it is important for us to make every effort to ensure that customers fully understand the value we provide in relation to pricing. And that's very interesting considering the fact that with the Rampocalypse that we're dealing with right now with the DRAM pricing issues, there is a rumor that the BOM, which is the bill of materials, which is how much it costs to put together the PlayStation 6, the BOM is $960. I will repeat, $960. Is this official? No, absolutely not. But if this is true, the PlayStation 6 will absolutely be $1,000 console. Additionally, yesterday, Sony announced that they, in a blog post that they announced, dropped like a bomb and then refused to speak any further about it, despite the entire world losing it over it. Sony announced that they will no longer support physical games for new titles beyond 2028. That they will still support in physical games that are coming out as of now to 2028, but new titles after that for PlayStation 5 as well as for the unannounced PlayStation 6 will not be getting a physical version of those games. Pretty much guaranteeing that the PlayStation 6 will be a digitally only console and will likely be releasing in 2028. So, Ramon, what are your thoughts about these bombshells that we got dropped on us?
So, where do I begin?
Love her.
So I think the general consensus, I'm going to start from the top and work my way down into hell. I think that it was by general consensus, we knew that the PS6 would not come with a disc player, but that it might be like the Pro, where you can buy, or the revised PS5 vanilla, where you buy the disc player separately.
Mm-hmm.
Now that doesn't. I mean, is it official that it's not going to have
It's not
an attachable
official.
disc drive?
It's not official,
Okay.
but it seems very, very unlikely. Like if you look at the
Okay.
progression of
Yeah.
how they gone. So like, you know,
Oh, they're telegraphing it.
yeah, they've been doing the entire generation. Like they initially had two SKUs. They had a PlayStation 5 that had the disc drive and a digital PlayStation 5 that didn't have the option, right? That was 2020.
Yeah.
And then they redesigned the PlayStation 5. And when they redesigned it with, you know, just digital. Like that's the default option of it. And then they made it optional to have a disk drive that you had to spend more money for in order to get. And then you kind of see the progression of like it going from something that you always have to something that you could have if you want it to now, hey, look, man, we ain't really doing this no more. We not doing it. And so if they did, let's say this is why I think that it's a digital only console and it won't have an option. If you did provide the option for the PlayStation 6, they said going forward, no new games will have a physical release. So that the PlayStation 6 isn't going to have physical games. So sure, it's going to be backwards compatible to the PlayStation 5. So if you have physical games on the PlayStation 5, well, how am I supposed to play those games? Like the thing is that that's not new titles. That's backwards compatible stuff. So there's going to be less and less people really trying to play older games like that. I just don't think they're going to support it because it's like, why am I going to design an additional attachment to this PlayStation 6 so that you can play a backwards compatible version of games that are available digitally? I just
Yeah.
don't think they're going to care.
Yeah, it's obvious that they don't. So yeah, I was just wondering if it was official or not. So, but yeah, it really does. It seems like they've been just telegraphing that move. Next, the pricing. Uh, Before this whole apocalyptic scenario with RAM showed up, I argued with people, with several people who were talking about the PS6 would be $800 or $900 based on the price of the Pro, and I'm like, the Pro is exactly that. It's the Pro. It's an enthusiast device. It's not the base price because the PlayStation is their store and they want high adoption rates, and they're not going to emulate the price of the Pro when they're trying to get everybody on board for the next generation. That was before we ended up where we are now. I keep hearing word that they're going to delay the PS6 possibly to the end of 2028. It would, in my opinion, it would be a good move simply because ain't nobody checking for a PS6. The PS5 generation has barely just gotten started. I mean, it was cross gen all the way up until what, like last year? So, nobody's checking for it anyway. There's not a lot of excitement about it, which leads me to my next point. Like with the all digital announcement, I mean, lots has been said already. I'm just going to say this: the old guard who made PlayStation into a culture and generated excitement, and this goes for Xbox too, but we're talking about PlayStation, generated excitement and made not only consoles, but games and event, they're gone. And this new guard are very sterilized and transactional. So instead of you going to the local store, like, hey, how's it going, man? Oh yeah, I'm doing all right. How about you? Hey, man, I'm enjoying the weekend. After I get out of here, I'm going to the lake. Blah blah. Now it's like that'll be $89.95. Okay, here you go. Hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm doing fine, thanks. Goodbye. Like they don't. There's no, and I'm not saying they got to have this, the common term nowadays, parasocial relationship. I'm not saying there has to be any type of parasocial relationship going on, but there was an interaction, there was a culture behind it. It was an event. It was exciting. A new console generation was exciting. Nobody's excited, and I say I'm being hyperbolic when I say nobody, but I can confidently say not many people are excited about the prospect of a PS6. They've killed all of their goodwill, and they just, any type of personality or excitement about the brand, they have scrubbed it clean, and it's nice and sterilized like a hospital room instead of a home. They don't care what we think. Their stock, from what I heard, their stock went up with this announcement. So I mean, if anybody had any illusions, the people they care about are the stockholders, greedy as they are. And it's a circular problem, because people who invest in these companies, they don't want to hear anything except the number going up, the bottom line going up, 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 which is unrealistic. But it's greed, and then the corporation, who has to please the shareholders, have to find ways to keep making the margin go up, 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 and then the consumers end up getting screwed because of this greedy relationship. They have single-handedly pretty much killed the physical market. There are businesses that exist all around the physical market that will be just pretty much devastated by this. Nintendo is like the last bastion, but we see how that's going with the game key cards. Maybe there's a little hope there, but I wouldn't hold out hope for that either. And as a very quick aside, as much crap as I have for Nintendo, I can respect, at least, in spite of the moves they've made that I don't like, at least they have retained their culture. They are the sole gaming entity that has retained their culture. They've retained that excitement. People are excited for new Nintendo consoles. Like, they still have it, And I was talking to Eric Jackson, shout out to E, and we were talking about that, and he was saying, like, when they bring in new people to Nintendo, they are introduced. They're people who are excited about the brand and they want to be there, and they introduce them to the culture, and they ensure that this next generation working there maintain the culture moving forward. It's a real thing, It's not this just sterilized crap that we're getting now from PlayStation. And games and consumerism, a large part of it is an emotional thing. And the reason I say that is because I've been looking forward to Wolverine since it was announced. I was hyped for it when I saw the latest gameplay for it. Now I think maybe I'll just wait 6 months and either buy it when it's on sale or just buy a used copy. And this isn't me making a statement, because you're making a statement as one. I mean, come on now. But this is just me going by how I feel. Or maybe I'll change my mind. But right now, instead of pre-ordering Wolverine, a physical copy of Wolverine like I was going to, I'm like, maybe I'll just wait 6 months and buy it used. Now, you guys know I have never missed out on a day one PS5 game. I'm usually always day one on a PlayStation game. But now it's like I'm not really excited about it anymore, because I mean, if I won't be able to buy physical games much longer, then I'll let my last hurrah being buying a used game for cheaper. They're $89.99 plus tax here anyway. That's $102 and like 76 cents or something like that. So yeah, maybe I'll just wait 6 months, get it for like $50, $60. And PlayStation has taken me from being a fan to being a customer, and now I'm just a client. I'm a PlayStation client now, and that's how they want it. So that's how it'll be. I'm off my soapbox.
Forte, what are your thoughts, man?
Interesting. So, all right, I'm gonna come at this from a couple of I'm coming from one main way, but depends on how people take it. It mostly stems from my frustration. Like, I'll say this first. I don't agree with the decision they made, or they're making, I should say, because it's not 100%. It's not made until it actually happens.
I think it's a done deal.
Oh, I think it's set in stone.
Yeah.
But to be on the political side of it until it happens, there's always a chance. But this is something that I feel like everybody should have saw coming at some point. You know, PlayStation has been garnering this position by coming out talking about how their overall revenue, how 90 to 95% of people that buy games are buying digital, where that's kind of skewed because it's basically based on revenue. It's like the old pump fake where they kind of tell you like Xbox will say, hey, monthly active users are through the roof and this is what our MAUs look like. And, you know, they want to talk about the scope of how many people are playing versus like, yeah, but how many people actually bought the game and how many people actually did this? You know, we know a lot of people are playing, but some of those people could be playing on other people's accounts. Are we just counting individual users? It's just like a whole different way of going about it. And it's kind of frustrating when they do it, but nobody can deny that, you know, if we even go back to like 5 years ago when it was like anywhere from 60 to 75% of most people were buying digital, you know, coming into like the pandemic and actually coming out of the pandemic, you know, because people, that's the only way you could buy games at that point. You couldn't go into a store. Well, I take that back. You could go into a GameStop because GameStop was essential for some reason. But for the most part, everybody was just buying their games digital. So that's kind of where it got really pushed for the most part by no faults of anybody at that point. But everybody, I think my frustration mostly comes to the reaction from everybody talking about this now. Like, where was this conversation years ago when, you know, you could go to Amazon and still say, hey, how much is Call of Duty Black Ops 7 on Amazon? Or we'll just say, or Modern Warfare 2 remaster. How much could I buy it on Amazon for? And how much could I buy it on the PlayStation or Xbox store for? And see that it was a drastic difference in price. But guess what? People knew that. People knew that, oh, I just rather, you know, buy the digital because it's more convenient and everything like that. And, you know, this and that, blah, blah, blah. But
and you speak to a really good point. So many people are like, oh, it's an asshole putting the disc in. I'm like, really, dude?
Yeah, really? It's real hard,
let me push it back here.
No.
How people want to game. Like, we can't be trying to tell people how they should enjoy gaming.
No. It ain't got nothing to do with telling people.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying people who say it's a hassle to put a disc in. That's all I'm talking about.
Right.
But that's literally it. If someone feels if someone feels it's a hassle to go find the disc and get it up, if they want to be that lazy, that's on them. It's their money. It's how they purchase the product and how they choose to engage in gaming.
Nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with now these same people have a problem with a situation that they didn't have a problem with before. And you know why they have a problem? Because it's an actual thing that's going to happen. It's not a possibility. It's not even this hearsay. They came out of like thieves in the night and told everybody this is what it's going to be. And that's on Sony. And now everybody is upset about it. And I'm sitting there like, bro,
the consumer, hold on.
Your own money.
No, exactly. And that's fine for them. It is not a consumer's responsibility to make sure you get to game the way you want to game. If I'm a digital only gamer, it is not my responsibility to buy some physical game so that you can keep getting physical games. That's not my responsibility. My responsibility is to consume content that I want in the way that I want to consume it. The responsibility to make sure that you have the options of media that you want to have is Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo. That's their responsibility. Putting that on the consumer for choosing to no, I'm not finished. Putting that on the consumer.
I wasn't finished.
Well, I'm just saying, putting that on the consumer for choosing to game the way they want to game is not their problem.
It has nothing. No, slow-mo. Let's rewind this. There is okay, we don't know the exact number. What is your take on what the breakdown of digital versus physical is? If you just had to put a number on
for the whole industry or for PlayStation?
For PlayStation, because that's who we're talking about.
Okay, so I think overall it's like 78% digital, 22% physical, but they I actually literally had this conversation with Nib maybe like an hour ago. He's saying it's skewed.
Okay, yeah, because
but then a massive number of live service games don't have a physical release.
Right, that's where most of the revenue is coming from, those games.
Yeah, but I mean, that's still like, why did those developers or publishers choose to just go digital only? If there were really enough gamers that's just like, well, I'm just not going to. If you don't have a physical release, I'm not buying your game. These publishers and developers will make sure they have a physical release. But that's not the case, so they choose to forego physical.
So we're talking about an entire industry that's like caving in on PlayStation. If you go and look at their tweet, over 100 million people have engaged with that tweet and liked or whatever they did on that tweet.
100 million? Not 100,000.
No, 100 million on that tweet that they put out. Over 100 million people have engaged with that. That is over a third of the console base of people playing games. So we don't know what the breakdown of, because there's no way to know how much of that is PlayStation fans, how much of that is Nintendo and all these other we don't know that. But all I know is and like you say, you can't police how people want to play their games, but I can call BS on all of these people that want to have their cake and eat it too, and fight this fight and say this is BS, they shouldn't be doing this, and you are part of the reason that is happening.
Then you're literally doing the exact opposite of what you said you're not doing. You said I'm not policing how people play games, but then telling people.
But I'm not complaining about it either.
You are you're literally complaining about them.
I am complaining about the fact that everybody out here is acting so like they knew this was going to happen at some point, and now they're enraged by it. You're enraged for something that you knew was going to happen that you didn't even care about. None of these people. I ain't gonna say none, because there's a good amount of people that did. But there are people that buy nothing but digital games, and they tell you in their video that they play digital games, but then they go out and they go out and fight this fight because guess what? It's good for business to be on the side of all the gamers that's infected by this.
Forte,
it is fake rage,
no, it's
bro.
not fake rage. You don't think it's possible.
Fake rage by some of
you
these
don't
people.
think it's possible for someone to be a digital only gamer, but also feel like if someone wants to be only physical or buy physical games, they should have the ability to do so.
No, because
How?
Dude, let me tell you something. This affects me more than them.
That has nothing to do.
And I don't even act like
how
this.
they feel about it has nothing to do with
that's you though, Forte.
Well, no, that is me. That is me. And I tend to think more about the overall scope of everything happening and why it's happening and know how we got here. Because guess what? We've been telling people on this podcast for like the last 5 to 6 years. I always stand on this podcast and tell people like, hey, it's cool. Keep on buying digital. At some point, they gonna pull the rug up under you. And when it happens, y'all gonna be upset about it. But now it's all of a sudden like the people that are upset, like, I can understand the people that have a split library And their library is split to the point where, hey, certain games I buy this, certain games I buy that, and they always talk about their digital library. Like I was watching Neo Sparks' video earlier today. That man has a huge digital library and a huge physical library, and he shows it off all the time on the channel. You talk about Mystic that does all the PlayStation content. Another person, huge physical library. So when he talks about it and talks about how he doesn't like it, I also know that he has a huge digital library too. But I also know there's people that don't have a digital game in their ecosystem. They're not digital, a physical game in their ecosystem, and they're making it seem like they were all for this, not for this to happen, because that's how they've been.
Maybe they were
for the longest.
Maybe they were.
I can give you an
like
example.
I completely disagree with you, Forte, because this is nuance. Someone cannot agree with less options being on the market for multiple reasons, selfish and non-selfish, and yet still say, well, I don't engage in the platform that way.
So all these people were just oblivious for the last couple
of
years.
That doesn't mean they were oblivious. That means that
so all of these people going out making videos talking about, oh, I can go to the PlayStation store and see a price of this, and then go here and see that this. We weren't able to do that for the last 5 years to know that this has been a thing ever since then.
And they knew it then. Like at no point are they saying, I didn't know this was the case.
But that's the thing, though. But that's where it has to stop at that point. You have to make a stand and say, hey,
make a stand. So what?
When they came out and said, no, listen, when PlayStation came out a while, I forget when it was, when they came out and they had digital games that were actually lower than physical games, and then they rewrote and changed it and said that they didn't want to hurt their partners by having digital games be cheaper than physical. So then they changed the price of all the games, and that's how physical became the same price as digital, and that's where the world we live in now. Also, let's go to the point that you can't even buy a digital game in a brick and mortar anywhere. I can still go into a Target, a Best Buy, a Walmart, and still buy digital Nintendo games and digital Xbox games. But guess what? PlayStation took that ability away from you over 3 to 4 years ago. So when that happened, people made a stink of about what, 5 minutes? In internet time, it probably was a week. But guess what? They continue to keep acquiescing to what the platform wanted, because guess what? It's PlayStation, and we want to support PlayStation, and that's all that really truly matters to, because it doesn't affect us as a gamer. It doesn't affect what I do as a gamer. Just like the whole thing, and I'll be the first one to tell you, I was not impacted or even pissed off in 2013 when Microsoft was talking about always online DRM, this and that. Guess what? Because my Xbox has not been online since I owned it. When I was in 2006 and I got a 360, it was always connected to the internet. So I will be one of those people that will tell you I was completely not impacted by it. But I still understood the fact of the matter. I told people, listen, this sucks. It sucks for the people that it affects, but this doesn't affect me. And I said it live on 4K online, but it was the worst decision they could make because it impacted sales and everything else. Now, the question is this going to affect sales and profitability of PlayStation? Because I'm seeing all this noise and all of this hoorah and people complaining and crying about it, but they keep saying, I see videos of people say, I'm not buying a PlayStation 6. Are you really not going to buy a PlayStation 6 So this is everybody's opportunity.
A lot of people probably not going to buy it because they can't afford it.
Listen, this is everybody's opportunity to step out and lead by example, and let's see how many do it. Because that's
not buying a PlayStation 6 has more than just it not having physical games.
No. But it's just not even buying physical games for the PlayStation 6. How about you not buy Wolverine? That has a physical release. Let's show them. This is your opportunity to show them how much physical really matters. And for all these people that are buying digital, if they really, really feel the plight of people that's buying digital games and not being able to buy physical no more, stand out on your two legs and say, you know what, we're not supporting Sony right now. This is BS. I feel like this is not a move that is really, really good for the industry in general. Stuff like that. Now, this is where gamers are selfish. We're the number one podcast to say gamers are a selfish creature. We are selfish in the things we like. But guess what? But all of these people out here hooping and yelling about a situation that's happening right now and benefiting off of it because of all the clout and all the admiration they're getting for standing up for everybody else. Let's see you really do this and stand up and do that. But guess what? I guarantee 99% of those people aren't going to do any of that. And PlayStation is going to operate as normal. They're going to come out with a PS6 with no disc drive on it. And everybody is still, not everybody, but most of the people are still just going to go out and enjoy their gaming. Like you said, SloMo, the way they want to, because right now it just happens to be very, very positive to be behind the group wave of everything going on right now. And once that dies down, then we're going to see exactly what it really is. I'm not disagreeing with you. I actually agree with you 100%. I just hate the way that people are reacting to this, acting like they didn't think this was a possibility, and then they're coming out saying that they're wrong for doing this. I was like, bro, this don't even affect you, and you sitting here acting like you're the one impacted by it. It affects them when it comes to like they're about, dude, PlayStation literally just deleted over 500 things, not music, but movies and stuff off of people's accounts. Literally just did it. So this has always been a thing that could happen.
But I mean, beyond that, this will affect
some of this. It may not even be PlayStation's fault because it's all licensing. Remember, Forza, you can't even re-download Forza Motorsport.
It's still their fault because they should provide you an avenue to have because like there's other services that may have like movies. If they go out of business or whatever, they create a deal for you to get the licenses of what you already purchased on like a different platform. There's always avenues for that.
That's what GOG does.
Right. But this outside of that, strictly in gaming, there being a lack of a physical media option will affect digital only gamers as well. It will affect them in how pricing is done. Because without there being a physical market, for example, God of War Ragnarok right now can be bought physically for like $20-$30. This game's like 2-3 years old, but on PSN, it's still a full price game when it shouldn't be. You will get more of that, more of games not going on sale when they're older, because there is no option to get it physically.
But that has always been the case.
Yeah, but it's it's different because the option is gone. Therefore,
but it was
Forte, listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. Forte, you are not listening to what I'm saying.
Still there, and nobody made a fuss about it when it was. Now we want to make a fuss about it because
Forte, stop talking for a moment and listen to what I'm saying.
Stupid. Wait till something happens to have a problem with it. That's crazy. I'm sorry. Go ahead, because I'm disrespecting you. I'm sorry, bro. Go ahead. And I wasn't talking about you. I'm just talking in general.
It will get worse because there is no other option. And the biggest issue here is that they have locked down PlayStation digital sales to just PSN, whereas a digital-only platform like PC has multiple storefronts, in addition to secondary storefronts like Green Man Gaming, CD Keys, whatever, where you can buy games at. That's not the case for the PlayStation platform. So what should happen, and because I don't get the vitriol for gamers, other consumers in this. All the vitriol should go towards PlayStation. Getting mad at other gamers who have no power in this whatsoever is useless. Demand what you want, how you want to play your games. Go for that. And or in the case that they don't relent on that, you make sure there are other options outside of just PlayStation, because guaranteed there are regulators in markets, because PlayStation is sold worldwide. There are regulators that in over the next 2 years before PlayStation 6 comes out will look at this and say, you cannot be the only place to buy these games digitally and be pricing it however you want.
That's what I'm hoping.
They won't
We're
allow it.
hoping.
They won't allow
They
it.
got
So it's
because
been allowed digitally right now simply because there's always been a physical option. When the
Yeah, I was
physical
about to say-
option
No,
is
I think
gone,
there's going to be
when
there's going to be
when
a
the
code
physical
in the
option
boxing
is gone, no,
stores.
well, as of now, the way things operate, they're not doing that.
Well, no, they
Or
said that
or
they will still. They said they will still have options for at select retailers to do that. They said it that tweet.
that's still kind of like not enough though, right? Like
I agree.
Amazon sells physical games, and when it comes to Xbox and Nintendo, or maybe Nintendo, I don't know, they'll sell you a digital code. Amazon should be able to do the same thing for PlayStation. That's what's going to change. That's where online retailers who can sell physical games now can't sell digital games with you. That's the kind of things that are going to change. And when how you see Green Man Gaming sell Pragmata on sale versus where it is on Steam or Epic Game Store, that should be an option as well. They can't try to deny that option. Like, that's where regulators are going to have something to say about it. That's where we should be focusing our attention. The actual avenues to make change, not getting mad at other gamers who choose not to buy physical games like you do. So, like,
Right.
that's where I don't have an issue with people being angry about this. I actually don't like it either. And it's not just because it's going to affect how I pay for digital games. I don't like it because I just don't like corporations treating their own customers like trash.
Oh,
So it should change across the board. Like something should be done about this to try to force Sony to change. Now, will Sony change? I don't think they will. I don't think
Nope.
you really can force them to do a disk drive. Like, I don't think that's possible. But at the very least, we can make it so that, like, if you're forced to buy this, well, you're not forced to buy anything. If you don't want it because you don't have physical media, you can just not buy a PlayStation 6, which I think a
This
lot of
car
people
didn't move.
won't do at all because, frankly, it's going to be $1,000 console. Ain't nobody really
Mhm.
buying it like that. But if you feel like this is something that I don't want, it's $1,000 in it, and I can't play the games the way I want to play them, which is have them on a physical disc because I bought it and I own it, then don't freaking buy it. And that will affect them more than anything because corpos don't give a crap what you say. They don't care how angry you are on social media. They don't care how much you yell. The only thing they respect is the dollar or the dinero or whatever the freak you want to call it. Whatever denomination you have in your region is what they respect. And if you stop giving them money, then that's what will affect change.
And let's see if it actually happens. Like I said, my biggest, I'm not even like, I'm disappointed in the decision that PlayStation is making. You know, that's without being said, but I just am more frustrated that, you know, like I said, I understand people can be upset and that's warranted. I just feel like at a certain point, this is more than just that. It's like some people had the opportunity to voice their opinion years ago on this type of subject when it comes to like the direction, you know, and now that, like you said, and there is a thing to something being finite and something being real and there being an absolution. Like they actually said, January 1st, 2028, this is over. We're not doing it anymore. So there is a level of, you know, panic that happens there. And, you know, people, and there's absolutely people out there that's taking advantage of this situation to like farm content and talk about this stuff like and I'm not saying they don't care, but I'm sitting there like, yeah, but this is something that we known for a while. And even if we go off of just the 70% ratio from a couple years ago that was still digital, there was over 100 million people that engaged with that tweet. And I'm like, You remember when I said the thing about Bungie, when we talked about the position, because I said the same thing then. That petition had almost 400,000 people sign it for them to say, for Bungie, hashtag make Destiny 3. And I said, you're not going to make $1 billion company make a decision off of hundreds of thousands of people making noise. Because you're talking about $1 billion as decisions.
Yeah, it cost them nothing to sign the petition, and it took no time whatsoever. Yeah,
but
exactly. All you gotta do is click sign.
Yeah, you got to click something. But I will say this: all you had to do is engage with a tweet. Now, 100 million people. That's a quarter. That's a quarter of the gaming public, basically, in an outcry telling you that this isn't wrong. This isn't right. That's a huge number of people, and that's a lot of data points to basically go back and look at. Once again, I don't think it's going to change anything.
Well, I would say 100 million people looking at the tweet doesn't mean 100 million people disagree with what happened.
No, just eyes on the tweet. Just that's how many.
Yeah,
people
that's a lot. That's a lot of people that see it.
That's a lot of people.
I will say though, they're not. It's not
people.
like, and I'm not defending Sony here, but it's not like they're blindsiding people with this, because we don't like. I would say, and there have been people out here who are saying,
right?
Huh?
You know why they're doing this, right?
Well, they're trying to get ahead of it so that like any kind of pushback they can deal with before it comes out. Because more than likely, at the earliest, a PlayStation 6 isn't coming out until like late 2027.
Exactly.
So now we're in the middle of 2026. They don't want this to be something that ends up being a huge talking point when they show you the PlayStation 6 and say, I don't know, summer of 2027 or something. So they're letting you know this now, so that you get in your head there's not going to be a disk drive. So get over that. And look, if you're almost on a Don Matrick level, if you want physical media, we have a PlayStation 5 for you.
We got a PlayStation 5 for
So,
you. You know what? You're absolutely right.
Past games. I think first I want to clarify, when I was talking about, folks saying it's a hassle to put a disc in, I was more so joking, like, dude, come on, really putting a disc in? It wasn't anything related to this topic. It was just me being sarcastic. But my thing, I think a lot of what boiled over here is, it's a couple things. One, if they had said their first party, it would have sucked, but I don't think as many people would have been like hit so hard. But the fact that they say all games are digital moving forward. The second thing is, we're still in this generation. I think most people knew that it was a foregone conclusion we were going to go digital, because it's just been growing. But I think the fact that, like, if they had come out and said, the PlayStation 6 will be an all digital console and we will be ending physical sales at the end of this generation. Physical games will end with this generation. Like, I mean, yeah, it's still the same time frame, assuming the PS6 comes out in 2028. It's still the same time frame, but it's like they're ending it still with this generation going on, and it's all games, not just first party games. It's everything. And for the people who are all digital, that are, and I'm talking about the level headed people, because I mean, I watched Jay Barry's video, and Jay Barry's like, look, man, I've been digital since the beginning of PS5. He's like, I don't really have a dog in this fight, but I stand with people who do buy physical, because they should be able to have that option. And at the end of the day, it's less friendly to consumers in its current state, because you can't buy digital games anywhere but PlayStation. And also,
I respect that opinion.
Yeah, and then Erica's she said something similar in her video. She's like, I guess I'm part of the problem. She's like, but I do think it sucks because it's taking options away from consumers. And for my part, obviously I'm all digital on PC, but 99% of my PS5 library is physical. The only reason why I have three digital games on PS5 is because I got a gift card for Christmas or my birthday. So that's the only reason. But otherwise, I'm physical on that. But the thing, like what's already been said, the big thing is, And I read, I don't know if you guys saw Nib's tweet. I haven't verified the info, but I'm just gonna read this list really quick. PlayStation physical to digital splits. Sackboy 77% was physical. Rift Apart 76% physical. Ghost of Tsushima 71% physical. Demon Souls 70% physical. Miles Morales 66% physical. Spider-Man 66% physical. Returnal 61% physical. Last of Us 2 61% physical. Ghost of I'm assuming is Yote because it says Tsushima for the second time. 51% physical, and MLB The Show 39% physical. And MLB The Show is something of a live service type of game. And basically, he says per Sony's own internal data, 31 out of 33 first-party games from their chart sold more physical than digital. So, I mean, that's one data point, but it shows that there's still a decent market for physical games. I
Well,
mean,
that's still a
at a
lot of
certain,
physical games at stores.
that's a lot of physical games, So my thing is there's still a market there. We're not talking about like 5% or 7%. It seems like there's still a serviceable market for physical. I know they want to get rid of it because then
No,
the margins are higher for them.
Well, they just
They've
want
been
to
licking their
feed
chops.
you
They've
95%
been licking
and
their
tell you that
chops.
that's the number, and it's really not.
Exactly. And they've been licking their chops on this for years. I can appreciate the over a year and a half buffer that they give everybody to wrap their minds around it, but and a lot of this is emotional. I mean, a lot of this, gaming is emotional,
Mhm.
and but again, I still think there's a large enough percentage of people that game physical that the market is still serviceable. And then, I mean, heaven help people in countries where the internet infrastructure isn't even strong enough yet. I mean, you go to some countries, trying to download a physical game is literally financially not feasible. So I mean, they're screwed, I guess, unless they're gonna do it on a country by country basis. But they're screwed. And I don't know, like they got around the whole regulator thing in slow-mo. You mentioned that they got around the regulators by saying, well, hey, you can only buy digital games here, but physical games are still for sale. So, you know, hopefully, the regulators are going to come knocking again and be like, okay, hey, you just killed physical games. So where else are your games going to be for sale?
Yeah, because when you make it so you're the only game in town, like at no point has any platform outside of like the Apple Store done that. And like shout out to Game Logic in the chat. He mentioned something that I was going to mention as well, that like Apple, like that time is coming to an end. Apple can't operate like that no more. Like these storefronts that are basically their own monopoly, where no one else can price things, and these products can't be like priced any different way. Like that's going away, so PlayStation's not going to be able to operate like that, especially when you kill the only other avenue to get these things cheaper. Then yeah, that's going to be a problem. And you're going to see, like you go to Green Man Gaming, you'll see every now and then you'll see like console games on there. For the most part, you see PC gaming. But that's going to be more of what's going to happen. Like, hey, look, and people are going to say, hey, look, that PSN price, I don't like that. But then I can go on Amazon and see what their price is for the game, and you'll get a digital key. Like that's going to be the future. And I'm fairly confident that would be the case, because even forget our current administration in the United States and how they seem to like, this would be something like what Sony's doing, it would tend to be something that the current administration would be championing, and I'm not trying to get political, but then there are other, regulators, other businesses, other markets across the world that absolutely will not do that. Like literally, like we've seen Apple, I'm not Apple, but Google, even though it's a completely different kind of topic, but Google just lost a massive case where they got to pay billions of dollars in fines, in the EU for, I think, I can't remember what it was. It was some kind of antitrust thing, but like this will not stand the way it is. But when you want to hurt the corporations where it hurts, it's hurting them in their wallet, hurting them
Exactly.
financially, because they don't give a crap otherwise. They don't care how you feel. They don't care how loud you yell. Well, I'm not going to buy your game. All right, prove it. And that's where you have to prove it. If you really want to stand on that, that's what you do. So,
And then PlayStation is not ready, in my opinion, for this move. Well, I got a year and a half, but their return policy sucks. That's number one. Number two, their security, their PSN security is abysmal. They need to fix that. If they're gonna have everybody all digital in 18 months, they need to get their act together, because you got whole account. I mean, everybody knows by now about the Colin Moriarty thing,
mhm.
and he's been working behind the scenes trying to get, trying to help facilitate change in that regard. But literally, you can have your account stolen, sold, and PlayStation's like, oh yeah, there's nothing we can do. When they absolutely can. I didn't know this had happened at the time, but there's a kid at my job who's like, yeah, dude, he's like, my account got banned, and I tried to talk to PlayStation about it, and they just, after a while, they just stopped responding to me. And at first I was like, damn, that sucks. But the kid is kind of like, he's young, he's kind of a little bit arrogant, he's kind of he has a little bit of a jerk in his personality. So I was like, okay, I don't know you that well, so what did you do? You know what I mean? And that could be the case where he could have done something wrong, but what happened to him is exactly to the T what Colin Moriarty described happened to him when his account got stolen. Exactly the same thing. So this kid's account is probably like, owned by somebody in a whole other country who just bought his account and all the games on it. And PlayStation just lets that ride. So you're gonna restrict everybody to digital, and you're this unsecure. So between that and their return policy, they need to fix it up, because if you're gonna force everybody in this direction, you got to at least behave right yourself.
Right, and look, I'm glad they're getting the smoke. Some things that they have been allowed to get away with for a long time. That return policy that you mentioned is one thing that absolutely should not stand. And I think these things will change, because people are not going to, when they have a lack of options, one or two things are going to happen. Either you're going to change what you're doing in order to make things right with them, or they're not going to engage in your platform anymore, and you're going to lose the money. You're already going to lose the money by the sheer fact. Something that we haven't, like we were discussing, it's been a part of this topic, but we haven't really discussed it for the most part, because we've been talking about how like they're killing all physical games. But
yeah,
them saying that we're not going to, lose money on this device, we're not subsidizing the hardware. If that bomb is correct, and it's currently going right now, going to cost you $960 to make one unit, you need to make some actual serious considerations here. Sure, you delaying it probably isn't feasible, but you need to look at how many units you're going to make and how bad of a launch you're going to have, because you're about to get into a world of pain. People are not going to spend $1,000 to buy a PlayStation 6. They are not. One, because they would likely, for the vast majority of them, can't afford it. And they're not going to spend money on it because they can't buy one. And another group of people could afford it, but it's just like, it ain't worth it. So I'm not going to spend $1,000 on it. And so when that's the issue that you're going to be dealing with, and the fact that like, Shino had the audacity to say that we haven't seen any kind of like dip in demand. Meanwhile, Circana came out and said in the month of May 2026, PlayStation had the lowest amount of sales in this region since 2020. in 26 years, and you are now currently at a point where your hardware is the most expensive it's ever been. When you were doing awful with the PlayStation 3 when you launched that, what were the prices? $500, $600. That was your prices. Like the idea that you can launch this product anywhere near the prices that you're currently at right now and thinking it's going to be successful, hell no, it's not going to be successful. So, like, sure, the whole physical games thing is an issue. The other issue is you're trying to launch new hardware at a time period where it's just not feasible for the market to be successful. And I see people saying, well, SloMo, like technology is advancing. If they delay it, it's going to come out. It's going to be really outdated. First of all, it's a console. It's going to launch outdated. That's just what it is. It's already outdated when it launches. Secondly, freaking NVIDIA and AMD have slowed down their generation hardware launches for CPUs and GPUs because people ain't buying them like that. So if they're slowing it down, how outdated is your hardware really going to be? Because ain't nobody buying anything when they can't afford anything.
Everybody's hunkered down.
Yeah,
Right?
and NVIDIA is making sure that DLSS 5 works on prior generations. AMD launched their new generation GPUs, tried to lock down FSR 4 to just that, and then reverted it to putting FSR 4 on the older generations. Why? Because people ain't buying new hardware. So if you delayed your PlayStation 6 or for the same Xbox, your Project Helix, well, it's going to be outdated. Ain't nobody upgrading? Ain't nobody upgrading their PCs?
Trust me, I want to.
Ain't nobody buying new hardware until it's affordable. So go ahead and delay it because it don't matter. I just like it's common sense to me. But go ahead.
The 5070 at Canada Computers is $1,050. $1,050 for the 5070 at Canada Computers.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody, and they had a whole shelf full of them. Nobody like nobody.
You know what's funny?
Nobody
Funny? I got on my Best Buy account, I have in my saved items list, I have a 5080. The Founders Edition 5080. You know, it retail MSRP $999, right? I have a rule. I'm not spending more than $1,000 on a GPU. Never will. So that, I'm looking at it.
That is a rule he has. I will admit to that.
so I'm looking at, I also have on there a Gigabyte 5080 that's dang near $1,500. I'm never going to buy it, but I just like to see the price differences. Sometimes I just have stuff on my save list just because I want to be able to quickly see the price of things, even if I already own it. Like I have a Switch 2 on there. I already own a Switch 2. I'm not going to buy another one, but I just have it on there just to see how the price fluctuates, right? One time, a few months ago, I looked at my saves list and I was shocked because I found this edition was available. And I said, oh, is SloMo about to buy a new GPU? Nope. Because the price for the Founders Edition skyrocketed to $2,200. That's why it was available. Because they more than doubled the price. And so I looked at that, I was like, they must be out of their mind. Ain't nobody spending like when it comes to comparisons, the 5080 is only 16% faster than the 4080. It's nowhere near as fast as the 5090. The 4090 is still more powerful than the 5080. Why would someone spend over $2,000 on that GPU? That's ridiculous. And so guess what happened? For the entire 2 to 3 week period, it was at that price. Nobody bought it. It was always available. Every time I looked at it, it said, you can get one tomorrow, SloMo. And I was just like, I sure won't.
Hey, just for a little fun, you want to hear how much? You want to hear how much a Let's see. You want to hear how much an RTX 5090 Asus ROG Astro GeForce
Minimum
5090 is?
minimum $3,500.
Minimum.
Oh my god. Keep going.
Minimum.
5,000.
Minimum? Yeah. The one that I named is $6,159 plus tax.
And it's available, right?
Oh yeah, it's very
Yeah.
available.
And it's available,
Right, right. It's not sold out.
Right now.
It will never be sold out because ain't
It will
nobody
never be.
spending that money unless you just basically like you're a rich person who just like spending habits. They're nothing to you. Like and about that 5080, as soon as the price went back down to $1,000, gone instantly.
Sold out.
Sold out instantly. So when things are overpriced, the market will tell you how they feel about it. They ain't going to speak on it verbally. They'll tell you with their wallets, which is they ain't giving you the money.
And that's the only way it works. That's the only way it works. Companies don't recognize anything else but that.
So it is what it is. Let's get up out of here. I know it's kind of a short show, but what really much to talk about except for one really big topic in particular. But I think we killed it. Had a good time, regardless. In regards to a little housekeeping, in regards to next week, as I said before earlier in the show, I don't know if some of you guys may not have been here when I said it, but I'm going on vacation next week, so I won't be here. But if Ramon and Forte are available, and there definitely would be a lot to talk about, considering next week might be the biggest, worst layoff or studio shutdown week that we've ever had in gaming. So who knows, right? But if they're open to, or Forte's open to hosting it, then you might see us next week. If not, then you'll see us in 2 weeks. But let's go ahead and get up out of here, Forte. Let everyone know where they can find you.
Yeah, Gaming Forte, YouTube, Twitter, Xbox Live, PlayStation. Great show as always. Appreciate SloMo. Appreciate Ramon for coming through and always being here and being dealing with my tomfoolery. But this was a great show. Just I just want to say for myself, I just wish that more people use their voices before things get to where they are now, instead of waiting till it actually happens. That's just my biggest thing when it comes to everything. Outside of that, man, it's very unfortunate what we're going through, and it's probably going to get even more unfortunate, like SloMo said, over the course of the next week. I'll touch base with Ramon depending on everything that happens going forward, especially after Labor Day. What we're going to do with the show next week, but it's a good chance we'll be here. But we appreciate you guys. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your families. Enjoy the beer, the liquor, and everything else you're going to have on this beautiful Sunday that's coming up during this heat wave that we're in. And just stay safe out there and enjoy the games that you are playing. But with that, you guys have a great weekend.
Cool. And Ramon?
Yo, thanks everybody for showing up. Thank you, SloMo and Forte, for being awesome hosts as usual. It's been a great time. You can find me, Ramon Terrell, everywhere. And on Steam, PSN, and Xbox, you can find me. I put it in the chat. My name is Synesthesia1. Synesthesia is not the correct spelling. It's a play on the word synesthesia. So, but it's Synesthesia1. You can find me there if you want to link up and on that. Guys, if you haven't already, get you a can of compressed air. Keep your consoles, your PCs nice and clean. I actually need to do mine. I'm overdue. Keep them clean, keep them dust free. Maybe even say some nice words. Be very polite to your machines, and make sure they're happy. and hunker down, get you some blankets, hunker down, and let us collectively hunker down in our bomb shelters, our gaming bomb shelters, and ride this out, because it's not going to be like this forever, but it's still going to get a little rougher before it gets better. But we whether you're on console or PC or both, we have capable hardware that is will do us very well into the next few years, and yeah, I mean, just hunker down, ride it out, take care of your machines, and they'll take care of you. Enjoy your games. If you're a physical gamer, buy them now. I'm about to go grab Onimusha and decide if I'm going to pre-order Wolverine or buy it used. But anyway, have a good night, have a good weekend, and enjoy your games. Enjoy 4th of July. Canada Day was yesterday, so I already did that. And I'm out.
Yep. As for myself, yeah, I'm just gonna be having a good time next week. I will preemptively say I am sorry for what's going to happen to a lot of people in this gaming industry, and I don't make light of that whatsoever. But I'm looking forward to this vacation because I haven't had one in a little while. But Fourth
Make
of
sure you
July,
take some fans with you.
right? Hopefully, I won't need that because the heat wave that's on the East Coast right now. Hopefully, I won't need to do that
Man,
again.
I had to wear sweats and a jacket today, if you can believe that.
Yeah. What?
Dude, we're having a chilly spell up here. It's been chilly for the past 4 days. It's raining, and I had to wear sweats and a jacket today.
Well,
Man.
I would love that. I would love for that to
I
be
would
the
love
case.
that. It's been
too hot.
90.
I live
It was
in Vancouver. Vancouver is in a rainforest. So when I tell you our summer starts in June and ends in September, like y'all summers are a lot longer than ours. So
brother,
we kind
it
of
was
live for summer.
brother, it was 90, it was 90, 92 on Tuesday, 96 yesterday, 99 today, and tomorrow's supposed to be 97, and then Saturday's supposed to be 92. This whole week, brother.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
It's been wild. It's been wild.
Yeah. But 4th of July is in a couple days. Be safe out there. Don't drink and drive. If you are drinking and you do need it and you were driving, don't be stupid. Give your keys to someone else who's also sober,
Please.
not drunk like you, and
sir.
and do make smart decisions. I know it's difficult sometimes, and sometimes we can be a dummy, but like, don't be a dummy that's also dead. So just fair
Or
warning
cause
on that.
somebody else to die.
Yeah, or kill
have that on.
someone else. Like, be responsible, people. Enjoy your time off, and just relax, man. Enjoy the time that you have with the people that you have when you have them. So, getting up out of here. Hope you guys enjoy your games and enjoy the rest of your night. Peace.
Peace.
Later on, y'all.